Okay, wonderful. Looks like I am live, and let's go ahead. It's about 2 minutes before 6, so let me just see who is here early. Hopefully, some people are. Let's go. Let's turn this down so there's no feedback. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, which is great. Yeah, I think those are the two. So let's do this. I don't think I need to have that up. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so that's a good thing. I am running up here, and let's see who is tuning in. Let me get my notes up. Hey everyone, Coach Trev, glad that you are here. And let me go ahead and haven't even started the recording yet, but hey, for those that are watching, which is great, I appreciate it. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and let me start the recording. Hey, Coach Trev, everyone, accountability coach. Good to see you here. Excited to get into what we are discussing today, the energy management secret, why time management won't save you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it another minute so that people can tune in. And so if this is your first time or if you're watching this live, put hashtag live into the chat, hashtag live into the chat. If you're watching this on a replay, put hashtag replay in the chat. That way, if you're watching this on the replay, that's definitely key. Why? Because if you have any questions, anything that you put into the chat that you want me to answer, then I'll get a notification that you've put that in there. I'll be able to come back and respond and be sure that you are getting the proper answer you need so that you can apply it. That's the key thing. So we're just not getting information, we're applying what we're receiving. I put up a post today, and if you're not following me, please be sure that you are following, you're subscribing, liking, sharing, you're turning on your notifications. I put one up today talking about accumulation of information versus application. So be sure you check that out. It's on multiple platforms. If you need any assistance, feel free to send me a private message. All right. So now that it's 6 o'clock, I want to be mindful of the time. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and jump and get started. This is going to be a good one today, so you want to definitely tune in. All right, so that's good. And let's go ahead and get that started. Beautiful. And I'm double checking here. So if you see me look down, this is only to make sure that this is showing that I'm able to see this, that that system I'm using is able to show you the screen. Now it's mostly going to be me because in the past there's been a lot that's on the PowerPoints, but I want to be sure that you are getting the full picture here. So let me see what it looks like here. Oh, let's move up. Let's move up there. Let's keep that there. All right. So here we go. Let me just do this. Make that full screen so that you can see all of that. That's a blessing. Okay. So our topic here is the energy management secret, why time management won't save you. So I'm excited to get into that. And I'm checking to see if we have anyone here. Yes, that's great. So as I said, if you're watching this live, put hashtag live into the chat. If you're watching this on a replay, put hashtag replay into the chat. Okay, so before we jump in, um, I need y'all to keep it a buck with me, keep it 100. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your energy level when you woke up this morning? Put it in the chat. Be honest, be real. Put from 1 to 10. If it's a three, if it's a four, if it's a five, keep it there. Keep it there. Understand that. Understand this, that most of us are waking up around running on E. And when we're out here wondering why we can't execute, even when we blocked out our time on our calendars, it's wild. That's why, because we're on E. You're wondering what's going on because there's no gas in the tank. So really what we want to get into is that tonight we're going to really talk about why this is not a productivity hack. We're about to flip it on here. So this is not going to be something where I'm gonna have you color coding your Google Calendar for the 100th time. Oh, no, we're addressing the real issue. You're trying to manage time when you don't have energy to show up for it. So let's get into it. Let's not delay it. Let's move forward in that, right? So let's jump back in so that you can see here. Let's click on there. Boom, done deal. So let me paint a picture for you. Tell me if this is home. You check your calendar, the afternoon is wide open, no meetings, no calls, nothing. It's the perfect time to knock out that project that's been sitting on your desk or what you've been thinking about for weeks. So, what do? Take a breath and you say, all right, you sit down, you open up your laptop, and boom, radio silence, just crickets, nothing. You just don't have it. Next thing you know, you're 45 minutes deep in social media, you are scrolling, or you're reorganizing files that don't need organizing. Or how about this one? Now, I've been here before, so this is I can relate. It's a Saturday. Your whole day is yours. I know, imagine that. You got a list long, you got a list longer than the CVS receipt. Things that you want to accomplish. And those receipts are long. It's like a CVS scarf by the time you get that receipt. Thing is, you have this list, you want to accomplish it. The challenge is you're so drained from the week that you end up on a couch binge watching something you've already seen. A movie, a series. Let me watch this series over again. Can you relate? Hands up, put it in the chat. Say yes, I can relate, or put the word relate into the chat. You had the time. The energy, it was MIA. So if you can relate to this, put the word facts. Put facts in the chat. If that's been you in the last month or the last couple of months, put that in the chat. All right. Let me just check the chat. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I see. Okay. So this is the elephant in the room nobody wants to address. Basically, we're all here obsessed with time management. We want batching tasks, using 17 different apps, watching videos and YouTube videos on productivity. Question is, what good is a perfectly planned schedule if you're running on fumes? So the issue isn't that you're trash at time management. That's not the key. So I want you to hear me. It's not that you are bad at time management. The issue is you're trying to perform without any energy, without any gas in the tank. And that's the killer. That's the issue that you're having. So let's talk about it. Let's get into the details. So looking at this, you're looking and you may be wondering why it's destroying you. All right. So, bunch of things here. Let me list them out, and we're gonna talk about each. Don't worry, you see me throwing it up here, but what I want to do is we're gonna break down each and every one. So, first off, you end up in this weird space where you're productive, but you're exhausted at the same time. So you're grinding all day, crossing things off that to-do list, but truthfully, you feel absolutely you're done. It's a wrap. You know, that right there, that feeling, that's not winning. That's surviving. Okay. So, second thing, you're working twice as hard for half the results. See, when your energy is low, when it's in the basement, everything takes forever. That 30-minute task, see, now it's a 2-hour marathon because your brain's foggy and you're checking your phone every 3 minutes. Now, the third thing is this, and this is where it gets real. Burnout becomes your new normal. You literally forget what it feels like to wake up refreshed. Being tired 24/7, that just becomes part of your personality, part of your identity. And that's when you start making those terrible decisions, those trash decisions, eating whatever, skipping the gym, revenge bedtime, procrastination because you're too wired to sleep, but too tired to function. See, the worst part, you start resenting your own dreams. Those goals that used to get you hyped, that got you in there, now they feel like burdens. The joy just gets sucked out because why? Because you're not thriving. You're just trying not to drown. There's a massive difference between the two when you think about it. So, so what happens? What's the true cost of you staying there, staying in that area? Oh, you see it right there. If you don't fix this energy crisis, let's break down what your future looks like. One, you keep waking up tired. You're going to keep having days where you've got time but zero energy to use it. That's it. You're going to keep grinding yourself down, trying to push through, and that's it. And here's what's really gonna hurt is that you're gonna keep getting mediocre results. Why? Because exhausted people don't produce excellence. Depleted people don't innovate. Burned out people just don't level up. And fast forward a year from now, you'll still be saying, I'm so tired, and I just need to be more disciplined. Nah, that's not it. That's just not it. It isn't. Discipline isn't the problem. You're trying to run a marathon on an empty tank and wondering why you're not winning. All right? So let's get real here. How many more years are you cool with feeling this exhausted? How many more goals are you willing to let die because you didn't have the energy to chase them? You know, um, I'm asking because at some point, truthfully, you got to decide. Are you going to keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, or are you really ready to fix this? What it says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So the question is, are you in that? Are you in that cycle? And if you are, it's it's time to make that change. So you've got to say, what am I going to do? What's the next step? So let's jump into what these are, because really, in order to fix something, you've got to know what you're fixing here. So let's talk about it. Now, I come up here, I've got some things, and understand this. When I tell you this, that the research prove it, I put this up here because you may think that this is me talking. This is Coach Trev, it's coming out of his head, he's making stuff. No, this is the data that backs it up. All right. So let's talk about it. So looking at this recently, hold on, let me put that up so you can see. Here we go. So 95%, all right, see that 95% that's there? 95% of leaders say their teams are experiencing burnout. So the leaders that are in organizations entrepreneur, they're saying 95%, not 9.5, not 19.5, 95%. You know what that means? This isn't a you problem. This is an everybody problem. Okay. So that's everybody. Next, when it comes to this stat here, this is interesting as well. So be sure you're paying attention on this here. So there are people working 50 hours are less productive. Get this, less productive. Are we clear on this? We clear? Everybody's good on this? Less productive than those working 40 hours. Remember, for those people that are saying, I put in 80-hour weeks and all that? No. The reason why is because after a certain point, you're just spinning your wheels and everything takes twice as long. Everything. So you've got to think about that the 50 hours a week are less productive than those who don't spend that. But here's the game changer. Here's what I want you to make note of. Research shows that energy management increases productivity twice as much as time management. Twice. Yes, this is not me. Remember, this is not Coach Trev coming out of here. This is the research talking that. So you literally get double the ROI from managing your time from managing your energy compared to managing your time. All right. So I just want to let that sink in. So the question is, so now you think about this, it says, so why is everyone still obsessed with time blocking and all these productivity systems? Why? Reason why is because energy management doesn't fit into an Instagram caption. It's not sexy. It requires you to actually know yourself instead of copying someone else's morning routine. But here's the thing. If you want real results without burning yourself to the ground, you got to start treating your energy like the valuable resource that it is. So now that we know that your energy is that source, we've got to talk about the things that drain you, the four energy drains. All right. So let's jump into that. Pull them right up here so that way you can see them. We're going to talk about them. Let's jump in here. These are the four main energy drains that's killing your vibe. Drain number one, you're doing the wrong task at the wrong times. You're trying to be creative when your brain is fried. And so you're scheduling important meetings when your energy is naturally low. You're fighting your natural rhythm instead of flowing with it. Most people have maybe 2 to 3 hours of peak time every day. That's it. If you're using those golden hours on emails and busy work, you've got nothing left for what actually matters. right? So that's key. Now, drain number two, energy vampires. See, if you think about it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's that coworker who trauma dumps on you for 45 minutes. Then there's the client that hits you up at 10 p.m. like it's noon their time. Then there's the meeting. Then there's those meetings that should have been a two-sentence email. We all know those. And then those social events you dread, but you feel guilty skipping. So you can't eliminate every single one of them, but most of us aren't even trying to set boundaries. See, we accept the drain and wonder why we're exhausted. That's one of the things. Now, drain number three, decision fatigue is real. Every decision depletes your mental battery. What to wear, what to eat, what to work on first, whether you want to respond to this text, whether you want to call this person back, all that. If you think about it, by lunch, you've made 100 micro decisions and your brain is tapped out. Done deal. So, see, successful people, what they do is they automate or eliminate as many decisions as possible. Not because they're lazy, but because they're smart enough to save their mental energy for decisions that actually matter. You all remember there's a couple of famous people that wore the same thing every day. They have. What was one I saw? Michael Jackson. He had a closet filled with just black pants, red shirt, done deal. Well, the same thing. Why? Because he was like, I don't want to think about this. I just want to go in, wear this, done deal. Closet. Steve Jobs, known for the black turtleneck. Didn't want to expose his energy, didn't want to put energy towards dressing, did the same thing every day. So it's like that. You have to think about that, all right? Like decision fatigue. Now, drain number four, there's no recovery that's built in. You're going back to back to back to back to back with no time to recharge. And then we're all shocked when we're burned out by Wednesday. That's why you're here at the Wednesday weekly workshop. So your phone needs recharging. Your car needs gas, but somehow you think you're the Energizer Bunny. That's just not how we're built. We are not created like that. We don't have an endless supply of energy. We need to be refreshed. And if we're not refreshed, then we get tapped out. Very simple. All right. So let's talk about number one. So now that we know what our energies are, let's talk about the solutions. So solution number one, when you think about that, and so the first thing was we're doing the wrong task at the wrong time. So what's our solution for number one? It's you got to actually know your energy patterns. Most people have no clue at when they're at their best and when they're running on fumes. They just feel tired all the time and think that's life. Not true. So here's an assignment. For 1 week, track your energy every 2 hours. Simple 1 to 10 scale. Monday, 9 a.m. What's your battery at? 11 a.m. Where are you at now? Now do this for a full week. And see, this is what's going to happen. You're gonna you're gonna discover your rhythm. Now, maybe you're sharp in the morning and you crash after lunch. Maybe you get a second wind at 3 p.m. Maybe Mondays you're locked in, but by Thursday you're done. Once you know the patterns, you can then work with them instead of against them. See, once you know your patterns, you can schedule your most important work during peak hours and you save the mindless stuff from when you're running low. So that way you protect those high energy windows like they're like they're front row tickets, all right, to the best show that you have. Why? Because they're valuable, all right? That's the key thing. So think about it. There was once a client who discovered that she only had peak energy from 9 to 11 a.m. That was it. 2 hours of premium brain power. But once she knew that, she blocked those 2 hours for her most important work. What happened? Her productivity doubled and she stopped working those 12-hour days trying to force it. So do this assignment, map your energy, find out where your premium hours are, your high energy time, and schedule your most important things for that. So that's key. All right. So now let's move on to the next one. Protecting your energy. You got to protect the energy. Like you basically you have to protect it. You have to guard it like this is your credit score. Like this is your home and you're not letting everybody in. Like this is you got the last you've got the last best doll or the best toy that everybody's looking for. You've got to guard it. Because why? It's not you being selfish, it's survival. You got to start saying no to stuff that drains you. Facts. You have to start doing that. That meeting that could have been an email, decline it. That event that you're dreading, skip it. That favor someone's asking that's gonna stress you out, say, nah, I'm all set. No, I'm all set. Now you're thinking about this, you're going, it's easy to say, but it can be difficult to do. But think about this. It's going to be uncomfortable. Of course, it feels uncomfortable. This is growth. But think about it. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that could energize you. That's the vice versa. I'll say that again. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that energizes you. You only got so much energy to spend. You've got to invest it wisely. You have to. Now, the second thing, you have to put limits. You have to put limits on energy vampires. Now, energy vampires, you can't delete them all from your life. But what you can do is you can set boundaries. That coworker, that wants to vent to you for an hour, tell them, hey, I got 10 minutes. What's up? That client that's texting you at all hours, only respond to their messages during business hours. Be direct, no explanation needed. Now, third, and this is non-negotiable, you've got to build recovery into your schedule. Now, I'm not talking about a vacation once a year. I'm talking about daily recovery. You know, this is 15 minutes between meetings to reset, an actual lunch break without your laptop, an evening without emails, a morning routine that fills your tank instead of draining it. See, your calendar needs some white space. If every minute is booked, you're headed for a crash. It's just a fact. So this recovery isn't lazy. It isn't putting you in a down space. What it is it's strategic. It's focusing on you. It's protecting what's yours. And that's an important thing. So that's solution number two. All right. Now let's swing down to solution number three. Here we go. So you want to do solution number three. Once you know your patterns and you're protecting your energy, you want to design your ideal energy day. See, so this isn't about creating a fantasy schedule. You may say, hey, I was there last week. You said, don't do your fantasy self, your real self, or this energy management. So this is really about being strategic with the energy you actually have. It's basically like, it's like a DJ planning their set list. All right. Here's how it works. All right. So let's break this down. If you're peaked, if this is your peak from 9 a.m. to 9 to 11 a.m., that's when you do your most important work. Not emails, not scrolling, your real work. This is the stuff that moves the needle. So then from 11 to 12, maybe you've got good energy, but not peak. So that right there, that's meeting time or collab work. Those things that you can do that's got good stuff. And then there's lunch. All right. And when I mean lunch, I mean actual lunch. I mean that actual lunch. Okay. Everyone's like, well, what do you mean by lunch? That seems like a foreign thing. No, and if you're working, if you're in a corporate environment, this is not eating at your desk while working. All right. Afternoon, let's say afternoon, your energy dips. That's when you handle the admin stuff. So what's the admin stuff? We're talking about emails. We're talking about or organizing stuff that needs doing, but doesn't need your A game. This is not stuff that you need to be 100% on there. It's just the routine stuff. Now, let's say late afternoon, you catch a second wind. So what do you do with that? Use it for planning tomorrow or something that energizes you. What happens is the key is to match your task difficulty to your energy level. So you're not going to be, you have made the decision to stop trying to do complex work when you're running on E. So stop trying to do that. Stop wasting peak energy on easy tasks. See, if you think about it, there was a client that was scheduling client calls during his lowest energy time. Why? Because that's when clients were available. So what happened? When you do that, when that client did that, his close rate was terrible, it's trash, and he couldn't figure out why. Did a simple maneuver. We move those calls to the high energy window. All of a sudden, close rate jumps to 30%. Same skills, different energy. So you've got to think about that. Make sure you are moving, you're designing your ideal day and you're moving things around. That's important, right? So let's talk about the application, because the one thing I say with this is that when it comes to your application, when it comes to that, it's not about the accumulation, it's about the application of it. So let's talk about applying what we've just discussed. So looking at this, and we're talking about one thing that we can do today. Let's put them all up there so that you can see. So this is something that we can do that will change the game for you. Now, before tomorrow morning, you've got to identify your highest energy 2 hours. Highest energy. Now, you may be something that says, oh, I can go 4 hours strong. Pay attention. Highest energy 2 hours. Not what you think there should be, is what they actually are. Now, for many people, for a lot of people, it's morning. Some people, it's afternoon. But anybody that's a night owl, it might be evening. So what you want to do is find your peak 2 hours. Then what you do is you block those 2 hours on tomorrow's calendar for your most important work, not meetings, not emails, not busy work, your real work, the work that matters, that moves the needle. And this is crucial. You've got to protect those 2 hours like they are sacred, like your life depended on it. Someone trying to book a meeting, tell them I'm not available. So, really, say, no, I'm not. Done deal. You tempted to check your emails? Don't. Someone interrupts? I'll get back to you. Phone call rings? Put on airplane mode. Just for tomorrow, give yourself 2 uninterrupted hours doing peak energy for important work. Watch what happens. Trust me, you'll get more done in those 2 hours than you usually get done all day. Why? Because you're finally matching your best work to your best energy. Do it tomorrow, then do it again. Then you make that a lifestyle. Trust. So make it a point, do it tomorrow. That's going to be your best bet. All right. So, and if you see me reaching, it's because for some reason my mouse said, nope, I'm not going to work. So, why this works. Let's talk about why this works. All right. This different approach. This is different than your time management system. Why? Because time management treats you like a robot. It's basically, it assumes you have the same energy at 9 a.m. as you have at 4 p.m. That's not how humans work. We're not machines. We're biological beings with rhythms. There's a rhythm, there's a flow. So there's an ebb and flow. Energy management recognizes that you're human. You have natural peaks and valleys. You have limits. You need recovery. See, we all get depleted. You get depleted. That's not weakness. That's reality. So when you think about it like this, when you work with your biology instead of fighting it, everything flows better. You start forcing productivity when your tank's empty. You stop feeling guilty about needing breaks. You stop comparing yourself to that imaginary person, the one that never gets tired. They don't exist. See, think about it. The most productive people that I know and that I read about, and I've coached folks all over the world, those aren't the ones that are grinding and putting the most hours in. Those are the ones that understand their energy is key and they keep it sacred. And what they do is they design their life around their energy. That's the secret sauce. See, it's not complicated, but it requires you to tune into yourself instead of copying someone else's system. You've got to know you've got to know your peak time, your peak energy. That's not something you can mimic. You've got to do the test. You've got to do the legwork. So this is where it gets really real. All right. So and you're wondering, okay, can I do this? Yes, you can. Now that you know these steps and you know these things, this helping, this right here, This is when I come in. All right. See, I've been coaching people for about 2 decades, from the US to international clients, helping people to achieve their goals without sacrificing their well-being. And so, as someone that's a certified life coach, um, I understand that energy management is always the game changer. So this is what I want to do is I want to personally help you audit your energy and design your ideal energy day. Now, this is not some cookie cutter template. This is your specific patterns for your specific life goals. Now, let's have this conversation directly, okay? Because this is not anything that need a mouse for anything. So everything I've shared tonight works. Tracking your energy works. Setting boundaries works. Designing your patterns works. But the application has to be customized to you. Your energy patterns are unique. Your drains, they're specific to your life. Got to think about it. Your peak hours are your own, and your recovery needs are individual. So that's why I'm offering these energy audit sessions. So in the time we spend together, what we'll do is we'll map your current energy patterns, we'll identify your biggest drains, and we'll design an ideal energy day that actually works with your real life. What you'll do is you'll leave with a concrete plan, not theory, but it actually steps you can take tomorrow. So in our energy audit session, here's exactly what we're building together. First, your personal energy map will identify when you're at your peak, when you crash, what triggers drain you, and the patterns you haven't even noticed. Next thing we'll do is we'll spot your biggest energy drains, which is either the specific people, situations, or habits that are plaguing you. Once you know what they are, what we can do is we can either minimize them or eliminate them completely. Third thing we'll do is we'll design your ideal energy day. Now, this is not some perfect world scenario, not something where, you're waking up and 8 hours of sleep, plenty of water, had a great morning, meditate, whatever it is. No, this is basically a realistic schedule that matches the important work. Understand, matches the important work to peak energy and protects your recovery time. Now, the fourth thing we'll do is we'll create your protection strategies, how to say no without the guilt, how to set boundaries that stick, and how to build recovery into your actual life. So this right here, what I'm offering, this isn't a generic coaching session. This is a working session where we build your personal energy management system based on my years of experience helping people just like you. So I need you to hear this. I mean, really hear this. You really deserve to chase your dreams without running yourself into the ground. You deserve to be productive without being exhausted. You deserve to accomplish big things without losing yourself in the process. And you're not weak because you get tired. You're not failing. You're not failing because you need rest. You're not less than because you can't grind 24/7. You know what it is you're human. And whether we want to realize it or not, this is the facts. Humans have limits. Think of the most successful person, the most successful people around you. Those are not the ones who ignore their limits. Those are the ones who respect them and design around them. But here's what I know. And the 20 years of coaching has taught me that you cannot do this alone. You need someone who can see your blind spots and help you recognize patterns you're missing. You need someone who's done this hundreds of times to identify what's draining you and what to do about it. That's what these energy audit sessions are about. Not giving you another system to try, but helping you understand your specific energy patterns and build a plan that actually works for your life. The question comes is, are you ready? Are you ready to stop running on empty? If you are, go to talkwithtrevor.com and I'm going to put this into the chat. All right. So, yep, and I'm putting it in because I've learned from the past. Put it directly into the chat there. There you go. Click on that and book yourself a session. All right. So let's. So I know I've been talking much, and we're coming forward, running a little bit over. Let me go ahead and give a recap as to what we covered, tonight. All right. So let me share my screen, and that way you can see what we covered. So these are the things we cover on our energy audit session. This is that. And so let's talk about what we're going to cover, what we've covered tonight. So we established that managing your energy beats managing your time every time. You can have all the time in the world, but if you're depleted, it's worthless. The second thing we talked about, the 4 energy drains: wrong task at wrong times, energy vampires, decision fatigue, and no recovery. The third thing I gave you three solutions to map your energy patterns, protect your energy with boundaries, and design your day around your actual energy levels. And finally, I gave you one action step, and that was to identify your peak 2 hours tomorrow and protect them for important work. Now, everything you need to stop running on empty is right here. The question is, what are you going to do about it? So now that we're here, understand this. If you want my personal help in auditing your energy and designing your ideal day, I have some limited sessions available this week. And let me be very frank with you. I can only take a certain number of people because these are personalized one-on-one sessions. This isn't a group thing. This is me and you mapping out your specific energy patterns. Now, one thing is that these sessions, they can book up within 24 to 48 hours after my workshops. The people who are serious about fixing their energy, they book immediately. And so the link is in the chat. If you're tired of being tired, if you're ready to work with your energy instead of against it, click that link and book your session now. Because here's what I've seen. The people who book these sessions are the ones who finally break the burnout cycle. The people who say, I'll think about it, are the ones still exhausted 6 months later. Question is, which one are you going to be? So this is it. This is it, family. So this is where you decide if you're going to keep running on empty or if you're going to actually fix the problem. You've got the knowledge, you understand the game. Now it's on you to make the play. This is it. The link, as I said, the link is in the chat. Now, if you want me in your corner, if you want me to personally map your energy patterns and design your ideal day, please grab one of those energy audit sessions right now. As I said, the link is in the chat. Go to talkwithtrevor.com. That's talkwithtrevor.com. See, don't let another week pass where you're exhausted and wondering why you can't get ahead. Once again, you don't need another time management system. You don't need an app. You don't need any of those things. You need to stop running on fumes. So book your session. Let's get your energy right. Right? Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you apply this. You got your homework. And my hope is that I will see you on the next call or I will see you on that audit call. Now, if there's someone that's not here, understand that the replay is going to be here. Share them with it. Tell them to go to Coach Trev Live, register, and that they'll access the replay. Right? But right now, click on the link, talkwithtrevor.com, and book your audit session. Right? So I know this was a help for you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next workshop. If you are following me and if you're I would encourage you follow, subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that. I'm on multiple platforms. I post daily. So be sure that you're following me, that you're able to get these bits of knowledge that I put out on a daily basis. My workshops are every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this is for you right now. Book those those audit sessions while my calendar is still open. So I look forward to seeing you all in the next workshop, and I'll see you also in my next content. Have a great day, and here's to breaking